You know that feeling when you're browsing an online store and the recommended for you list is so spot on, it's kind of spooky, right? It feels like it's literally reading your mind. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and see how the trick is done. We're going deep inside a modern recommendation engine to figure out exactly what makes it tick. So let's just jump right to the end result. This is it, a nice, neat list of products for one person, user 196. But check out that last column, purchase probability. We're talking probabilities as high as 86%. This isn't just a random list of similar stuff. It's a cold, hard prediction of what this person is most likely to actually buy. The big question then is, how in the world does a machine come up with this? I mean, it really does feel like magic, but I promise you, it is all math. And over the next few minutes, we're going to break down the science behind it. We're going to see how raw data gets transformed into a list that drives billions of dollars in sales. All right, first things first, we need to get our heads around the single most important idea here. The huge shift in thinking that makes these new recommenders so incredibly powerful. It's not about what's similar anymore. It's all about what's probable. This right here is the fundamental change. The old way was, kind of like a helpful buddy saying, hey, you bought these running shoes, so you might like these other running shoes. Simple enough. But the new way, it asks a much, much smarter question for every single item in the store. What is the exact statistical probability that this user will buy this specific product? That changes everything. It's a total game changer. And in the world of data science, the technique behind that question has a name. It's called a classification task. You're reframing the whole problem. You're not looking for a fuzzy match. You're trying to predict a simple binary yes or no outcome. For every single person and every single product, the question is just, will they buy it or won't they? That simple frame is what makes the whole system work. Okay, so you're probably thinking, how on earth can a website calculate this for millions of users and millions of products without its servers melting? Well, the answer is a very specific, very powerful piece of technology. Let's talk about the secret engine that makes these predictions happen at lightning speed. That engine is called LightGBM. It stands for Light Gradient Boosting Machine, and as our source material points out, it was built from the ground up for two things that are absolutely critical online: blinding speed and incredible efficiency. It can chew through massive amounts of data without even breaking a sweat. And the best part? It does all this without losing its predictive power. So how does it pull this off? Well, it has two really clever tricks up its sleeve. First, instead of looking at every single data point, every single grain of sand on the beach, it groups them into bins, kind of like sorting that sand into buckets first. That's the histogram-based approach, and it is way faster. Second, while other models build out their logic very methodically, LightGBM acts more like a detective. It finds the single most promising clue, the one that will get it closer to the answer fastest, and it follows that lead all the way down. That's called leafwise growth, and it helps it solve the case in record time. And this is a really crucial point. This isn't just some techie detail for the data science team. As this quote explains, choosing a tool like LightGBM is actually a major business strategy. When you need to be constantly retraining your models on fresh data, prioritizing speed isn't a luxury. It's what keeps you ahead of the competition. So we've got this super fast engine making predictions. Great. Now let's connect the dots and see how that technical output, just a simple list of numbers, gets turned into actual real-world business value. When you strip away all the complex code, the process is actually pretty straightforward. It's a 5-step flow. You gather up all your data on users and products. You prepare the key features you want to look at, like location or price. Then you let LightGBM do its thing and learn the patterns. Step 4, you have it score every single product for a user. And the final step, you just sort that list from highest probability to lowest, and boom, you've got your recommendations. And that final list is absolute gold for business managers. They can use it to create those personalized storefronts we all see. They can run super targeted promotions, maybe offer a tiny discount only to people who are already likely to buy. And if you look at these predictions across thousands of users, you can even start to predict future demand and manage your warehouse inventory way more effectively. And this quote from our source just nails it. The whole point of this entire system is to transform the core business question. You stop asking what's similar, and you start asking the much more powerful, much more profitable question, what is likely to sell? That's the name of the game.
Now, as amazing as LightGBM is, it is really important to know that it's not the only tool for the job. Choosing the right algorithm is a huge strategic decision, and there's absolutely no one-size-fits-all model.
This comparison from the source is fantastic because it lays out the trade-offs so clearly. Here you have boosting algorithms, like our LightGBM, compared to another really popular model called a random forest. And you can see the difference right away. Boosting usually gets you the absolute best accuracy, but it's kind of a black box. It's really hard to know why it made a certain prediction. A random forest, on the other hand, might be a tiny bit less accurate, but it's way easier to interpret. So here's the bottom line. This is the simple rule of thumb for anyone making these decisions. If your goal is to figure out why something is happening, like why are customers leaving, you use a random forest. But if your goal is pure raw prediction, getting the most accurate possible forecast of what is going to happen next, then a well-tuned boosting model like LightGBM is almost always going to be your champion. And that brings us to our final thought for the day. These systems are incredibly powerful. They drive enormous business value. But as this AI gets better and better at predicting and maybe even guiding our behavior with these perfectly timed suggestions, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. Who is really making the choice here?